Let's do another Valentine's look. Now this one is called Orangey Blushing. You guys already know we're gonna go ahead and start priming both of our face and also prime the eyes. So let's do an eye look using these two palettes. So first I'm gonna go in with this peachy tone, really evenly coat it on the brush, and just go in and pack it all over the lid. Since we are using more of a fluffy brush, it's going to apply the shadow evenly. So there's not really a transition shades that I'm looking for. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix this peachy pink and this more creamsicle orange and create my own transition. And I'm gonna take it on this more fluffy brush and just go right on top of where we placed that first shade and just start diffusing it. So I did drag the eyeshadow a little bit higher than what I wanted it to be. So I'm gonna take this more lighter creamy orange shade and I'm just going to fluff, but I'm actually going to be focusing it on the shadow, so taking it just right in the center. So now I've diffused that look. So now I'm going to go in with a cream shadow. This is the lightest tone that we're going to go, and we're going to actually go in with a super fluffy brush, and this one can actually just be applied just all over. This is mostly just to diffuse it. So I feel like with this look, sometimes I can get a little lost, especially on my eye shape. So I do want to add the tiniest bit of dimension, but I'm actually going to take a warmer brown. Now if I went in with like a darker brown, it would end up kind of looking a little muddy. So I do want to add some shimmer on the lid. So I'm going to go in with this more like peachy orangey shimmer on a flat brush and mostly just applying it on the main portion of the lid. Now I want to take a little bit of this lighter tone and I just want to apply this towards the end very subtly. So we're not doing a halo eye, we're just adding a little bit of dimension, so when we have our eyes closed or if we're looking at somebody, there's like that tiny little bit of an extra dimension. It looks beautiful in real life. So now we're done with the eye look. So now let's go ahead and do a little bit of color correction. So I'm gonna take this peachy just right underneath the eye and take a little bit of green to get rid of all that redness around the mouth. Let's go in with a little bit of a liquid liner. So I'm gonna take a brown shade. Because we're doing a warm eye look, I really love matching it to a warm tone liquid liner. So I'm gonna go in with a warmer brown. So now just going in with a little bit of BB cream for our base. So now let's go ahead and apply a little bit of concealer while also cleaning up that look. So while we're letting that dry, let's start doing the brows. So just gonna apply a little bit of some brow soap. So now let's go ahead and start blending out that concealer. Now we also want to make sure we're cleaning up that eye look. Okay, so now let's go ahead and bronze up the skin. Now we are doing a warm look, but I still really love using a neutral bronzer, especially just because I really want the eyeshadow to be the main focal point. So now we're going to start doing our blush combo. So I'm actually going to take both of these tones. So I'm going to start off with the lighter tone more in the center of the face and then take a deeper tone more towards the outer portion. Now because of the shape of the eye, it kind of goes this way. I want to focus first on this lighter tone and really just leveling it to where I place that shimmer and then start blending it so we have a nice transition into the deeper tone and kind of bring this slightly up, not fully straight away, just a slight up that matches the way that the eye is going. So now it's time to go ahead and set the face. So we're going to start off with where we crease the most, which for me is my under eye. So taking my pressed powder and really focusing that in the creases. Now let's go ahead and set it with our loose, but we're going to focus this mainly in the center point of the face where we really want that brightness. So now let's start to do our brows. I'm going to add brow pomade and then just start carving out a nice shape for my brows. So now it's going to set our brow pomade with a little bit of a brow powder just right on top and also filling in any areas that we missed. So now I'm going to start building our lip combo. So I'm going to go in with a base lip. So while we're letting that base lip set, let's go in now with our neutral tone bronzer. Now it's time to finish up the look. So I'm going to go in with both of these like peachy and the cream shade that we used on the top. And I'm just going to mix them and put them underneath the under eye. Just running around all along. So now let's go on top of our liquid liner with a gel liner that matches the same shade, and we're just going to run it through right on top just to create a nice extra layer so that it can last a little longer. Now I do want to add a little bit of definition for the nose because I feel like honestly it looks really lost. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of a contour powder and I'm going to really focus right here on the eye just to give a little bit more contrast because we have so much warmth here. Is have a little bit more of definition with the cooler tone shade. You can already see the difference. Look at how defined that is for this eye compared to this eye. Like, you see that there's definitely a difference when you add a little bit of a contour. Now it's time to finally finish up our blush combo. So I actually want to do a little bit more of a base shade. So this is actually a blending blush for me, But I want to go in with this more glowy one. It definitely has a lot of pigment, so I want to set down a base, but I want a lighter tone. So I'm going to go in with this one, and I'm just going to take it all over, and I'm actually going to bring it kind of in towards the nose. So now for our main shade, is actually more of like a peachy shimmer. So because it has a ton of shimmer, I definitely want to take a more fluffy brush, but I do want to focus this mainly on the center because we already laid our base. We already have a nice transition created. Now I'm just going to focus this just right in the center, just so that when the sun hits, we can see the sparkles that this blush has. Now let's go in with a subtle highlight. So I'm going to focus this just right here in the center point and blending it in with that shimmery blush, as well as hitting the touch points for the nose. Now let's finish up this eye look by curling our lashes and adding a coat of mascara. So now let's finish up the lip combo. So now we're going to go in with our lip liner. Now this lip liner is basically the same shade as my lips, so we're actually going to use this more as a blurring lip liner. So we're gonna go ahead and start blurring out my natural lip line because I really want the base shade and then the gloss to be the main focal point. Now it's time to go in with a sparkly peach gloss, and I'm just going to apply this just right in the center. And finally, let's fully go ahead and set the face. And this is the look. Now you guys already know a look will never be complete unless you have your hair, your outfit, and your accessories on. So I will be right back. And this is the final look. So I already have my outfit and my accessories, and I did my hair. But this is it for today's Valentine's look called Orangey Blushing. So if you guys recreate this look, totally let me know. But with that, this is really it for today's video. Bye!